Is a story that I think is dominating the conversation right now as it pertains to college football. Hey, Dad, it is not a box score. It is not a two-deep offensive line, so I know you may be a little out on this, but the landscape in college football has changed, period. It has changed. It's going to continue to change. It's going to continue to evolve, and I'm not making a big blanket statement as to whether or not this is good or bad, but here we are. The winner of the Bednarik Award last year for the best wide receiver in college football, Jordan Addison from Pittsburgh. Why are you shaking your head?
Biletnikoff.
I'm sorry, Biletnikoff, not Bednarik. That'd be the wrong side of the ball, wouldn't it?
Ooh, if he could go win the Bednarik, that's a heck of a receiver. He
tough. Has really done something. I'm sorry, the winner of the Biletnikoff Award for the top receiver in college football last year, Jordan Addison of Pittsburgh. He has officially entered the transfer portal. There was this particular tweet, and Borky, you've got this in the notes. I don't know if it's specifically from this tweet. Matt Fortuna at The Athletic tweeted earlier, source, expect Jordan Addison's name to appear in the transfer portal at some point today. No decision has been made on where the consensus All-American wide receiver will play in 22, though a return to Pitt remains a consideration.
There was something that was going viral that has apparently been corrected. Some random guy said that he was offered over $3 million in a house by USC and their collective. One issue. They don't have a collective. Now, they've got boosters that are doing their thing, of course. Why do you think Caleb Williams is there? However, that was not accurate. There is no collective yet at USC, if you can believe it. It's shocking.
If there's not, there will be.
There will be, because that's the thing now. But the $3 million in a house offer appears to be greatly, greatly exaggerated, for whatever that's worth.
So I learned a new term yesterday as it pertains to name, image, and likeness. We kind of know what a collective is, right? It's a bunch of people coming together and pooling their resources to create a fund that will pay players to come to your school. Now, they may describe it differently than that, but that's what it is. That's just what it is. It's a bunch of people coming together and pooling their resources to buy recruits. And that's fine. Let's just call it what it is. That's what it is. Collective, though, has been the term that has been bounced around all over the place. But there's also a directive. Apparently, that is a single wealthy person who is not pooling their money with anybody else and just says, yeah, I got this on my own, thank you. That's what is happening at Miami and some other places as well. A fascinating. All right, so there's so many layers to this Jordan Addison story at Pittsburgh. First, the idea that Pittsburgh has a shot to get him back. Let's just
imagine telling your wife, hey, I'm going to start looking around a little bit, but there's still a chance I might stay with you.
But this isn't a marriage.
No.
I would argue, and I know there are a lot of people that would disagree, that by simply taking advantage of the rules that are currently in place, Jordan Addison is making a wise business decision, even if he plans to return to Pittsburgh. Because by putting his name in the transfer portal, Jordan Addison has said to the world, I am open for business. And I am going to go play for a good football team, whether it's my current team or another team, that is going to pay me a lot of money to play on that team. And so you can say, well, but what about the value of education? Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, I'm with you. You know where I stand on we need to put value on the education piece. That's right. There are a lot of people that are kind of vilifying Jordan Addison in all of this. There are people that are vilifying Southern Cal and vilifying others who are tampering. Pat Narduzzi's got his panties in a wad because he has called Lincoln Riley directly and the people at Southern Cal and complained about tampering as that news has come out. And understandably so, right? You want to protect what is yours. But the rules, or lack of rules, if you prefer, that are currently in place frankly say, Jordan Addison, you are foolish if you do not put your name in the transfer portal.
Yeah, they encourage this. They reward this.
And so I can't be upset at all with Jordan Addison.
Nope. I would do the exact same thing.
And again, even if you have no plan to leave Pittsburgh, if Jordan Addison can, and let's say the $3 million rumor from Southern Cal is so far from reality that it's crazy. Let's say the only real value for Jordan Addison in the transfer portal in NIL is 10% of that number. Let's say it's 10% of the $3 million that's rumored. Hello, 19, 20, 21-year-old who has a chance to make $300,000 while playing football and also finishing a degree next year? Sign me up. Even if it's only 10% of the rumored $3 million. What if it's 50%? Wait, he can get $1.5 million? What if it's 20%? He can get $600,000? There may be bad guys in this situation.
There are.
But Jordan Addison ain't it. He's not the bad guy in this deal. Let's talk with us. Let's pick this Jordan Addison story back up. This from ESPN. Biletnikoff award-winning receiver Jordan Addison's name will appear in the transfer portal. It has appeared in the transfer portal on this Tuesday. Addison has reportedly not made a decision about his destination, and a return to the Panthers program remains on the table. USC, Southern Cal that is, quickly emerged as a potential destination just as rumors of Addison considering entering the portal emerged last week. ESPN reported that Pitt coach Pat Narduzzi angrily called Trojans coach Lincoln Riley to express his displeasure with alleged tampering. Multiple reports state that Addison has received 7-figure NIL offers to transfer. Last year, the sophomore wide receiver for Pitt had 100 catches for 1,593 yards and 17 touchdowns as Pitt won their first ACC championship. He's not huge, 6 feet, 175 pounds. Went for 100 yards or more 8 different times, including a 202-yard, 4-touchdown masterpiece against Virginia, the story says. This past Sunday, May 1st, was the deadline to enter your name into the transfer portal to be eligible immediately using the one-time transfer rule. However, the name doesn't necessarily appear immediately in the portal because schools have to go through whatever process. Official paperwork has to be fired, and it can take up to 48 hours for a name to officially be in the transfer portal. There's been a ton of discussion about this. I thought my first point or first observation in this was Jordan Addison is not the bad guy here. Where do you guys start?
Where I always start with this. I mean, first of all, there are so many people in our business and just regular fans that are very mad that a player that they didn't know existed until this week is going from one school to another. I always, just the disingenuous anger that I've seen from some media personalities. You didn't know who this kid was. You couldn't have told me who he was. And now you're mad that he's going from one school to the next? Stop. Spare me. And why is nobody mentioning that Pitt rated Akron for their best player? Oh, that doesn't move the needle, though. Because, who cares about Akron? But when USC takes the best player from Pittsburgh, oh, big deal. But when Pittsburgh takes Akron's best player, sorry, Coach Moorhead, sucks to be you. It's not exactly fair. I've changed my stance on this even a little bit. I think the portal should be open one time, and for a very short time. Because while people say things like, oh, college football is turning into professional football, no, it's different. It's worse. Pro football has a salary cap, and they have windows. They have guardrails. College football right now doesn't have guardrails. In fact,
they also have contracts.
They have contracts. College football needs to be more like professional sports in this regard. because you can be a free agent for one short period. Everything is structured in professional sports. College football has no structure. There are no windows. It is wide open, and the wide open nature of it is why I think it's worse. Open the portal the day the national championship ends or January 1st, whatever. Pick the day. It's open for 3 weeks. That's it. The transfer portal is open for 3 weeks. You pick your destination, portal closes. And if you are still in the portal when it closes, your old school can take you back if they want. Or you can drop down a level and play there if you want. Put a guardrail up. Because stuff like this wouldn't be happening in May if you did that then. You have a clear, concise window where portal's open and portal closes. And if you hit the portal and you had nowhere to go, you can go back to your previous destination. I assume
if they want you.
If they want you. Maybe you can add a clause where they can walk on somewhere if they really don't have a home and they want to pay their own way. Don't want to stop that from happening. Or you can go down a level. Otherwise, that's it. And that would solve so much of this. What's lacking in college football is not anything other than structure. Oh, we don't want it to be professional sports. I'd rather it be more like the NFL than what we're getting right now. Because while I think people are being disingenuous with their outrage about this, there is some truth to it. There is some truth to Pat Narduzzi's anger. They already went through spring practice, and now I'm losing this player? How am I supposed to build a roster like this? End the practice, except for 3 weeks when the season is over, and then close the portal and be done with it. Just like they do at the professional level. You have precedent for it. Follow their example. And this kind of stuff won't exist.
Hey, Dad, I know this isn't your favorite topic, but it is a topic that is absolutely dominating the college football news world. And it affects both positively and negatively Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Southern Miss. So when you see this Jordan Addison story in particular, what comes to mind for you?
Well, first and foremost, what Michael said is accurate. You got to have some more structure to this entire situation, because people talk about the wild, wild west and things of that nature, and it kind of is that right this second. And again, I'm not in the way of anybody making a living, and I don't care that they're making a living because they're a highly touted recruit. Whatever in this life drives you to make money, do it. Do it. What do the Godfathers say? None doesn't make any difference to me what a man does to make a living. But that said, yeah, we can't have guys just constantly going in and out of. Borky's right. Spring practice is over at Pitt. They are ready to go into the season. Go into the off season and move forward. And now you've put yourself in this position where you got to replace your best player, and you can't do it. You can't go out and there's guys in the portal, but there's nobody of his caliber in there. So it's a really tough situation. Of course, it all comes back to the stupidity and the inadequacy of the NCAA and their inability to just step up and do the right thing 5, 6, 7 years ago. So then they went to the one thing that's more inadequate and stupid than them, the federal government,
and
try
got
to
no
get
result.
them to help. And this is where we are now. So basically what it tells you is that people in power are dumb, and the more power they have, usually the dumber they are.
Preach.
Louis in the 662, NCAA football needs 60 scholarship athletes per team who get room, board, and an education, and the rest are NIL professionals preparing for the NFL. Whew.
That sounds great, but are you the kid who doesn't want to take a bet on himself? Are you the kid who's like, yeah, I'm happy just doing this? I don't think so.
But even
No-
the
no
just
kid-
doing
no
this
kid.
is getting that kid's still getting paid in addition to room, board, and an education. He goes to a school where the extra money is on the table, not NIL
Right.
money. I mean, we've talked about it. The Educational Opportunity Fund that exists that a number of schools are taking advantage of. I think Ole Miss was the first in the SEC to do that at about $6,000 a year, just walking around money. And the qualification is you stay eligible. And you've got cost of attendance stipends there. And if you qualify, Pell Grant money is real money also. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Another message: do high school recruits need agents? They certainly need advisors.
And you can get one. You can get one if you're talking about NIL.
In the story we'll talk about later, there is an anonymous, and Ross Dellinger doesn't make stuff up. This is a real player. They just chose to protect the kid by not using his name. That signed with one of these collectives that basically signed his rights away for very little money.
It was a three-figure deal.
Yeah. So
something less than $1,000, a kid gave up all of his name, image, and likeness rights to a collective.
That's a horrible deal.
It is, and that's where you need guidance, right? I mean, the reality... I don't want to overuse the term the reality of it is, but here is the truth. You got a lot of these entities that are doing it the right way. And then you got a bunch that are trying to make a buck. And you have unscrupulous people, but that's not new news, right? I mean, find me a walk of life, a business, a sector anywhere that doesn't have unscrupulous people. You find it in politics, you find it in business, you find it in religion, you find it in coworkers, you find it everywhere. There's always a bad guy. So you got to protect yourself from the bad guys.